Hi everyone. So today we're going to look at how to use our library databases, and I wanted to start from the COS homepage, so you can just click on cos.edu. Let's get over there. Sorry, I clicked away. From there, we're going to click where it says library. So head over to the library, and specifically we want one search. So click here. Once you get there, it will probably have you sign in. You can see that I'm already signed in, so I'm going to skip that step, but make sure that you sign in using just your normal COS credentials. All right, from there, we're going to click Advanced Search, and then it's going to give you all kinds of different options. We want to be looking for articles. And in this instance, for this video, I am giving you an example of how to look for an outside source that would help you talk about the rhetorical situation for your rhetorical analysis essay. You'll use different sources for different things, so you'll be looking for different kinds of sources, but the process will be the same. So in this example, that's our purpose. So for whichever thing you're looking for, in this example, we are looking for an outside source that's going to help us talk about the rhetorical situation. And I'm going to use a modest proposal as the example text that I need to find something about, just because I know that you've all read a modest proposal for class. But again, remember, if you have a different purpose, you can just kind of disregard that and just look at the steps I'm taking. So if I'm looking for a outside source that talks about some background information for a modest proposal, right? Because that's what our rhetorical situation is essentially just background information. So for a modest proposal, I know that that happened in Ireland. I also know that that happened in like the 1700s. So I'm going to put Ireland and 1700. If I would like to add a new line, I can also put, for example, social issues or something like that, right? I've also clicked this button that says articles, and then I'm going to click search. So let's see what kinds of social issues were happening in Ireland in 1700. So then it's going to bring me up a list of all different kinds of things, right? So population, providence, and empire, churches and immigration, that might be interesting. If I want to explore that first thing that I have found, it looks like it's a book, then I'm going to click where it says available online. So I can click here, and you can see in the description, it'll tell me more about that, right? And then if that looks promising and I want to go ahead and find it, then I'm going to continue clicking on whichever things are available under full text availability. Now, for each thing that you find, it's going to be a little bit different in terms of like what that full text looks like. So I can read this book online, or I can download the book, or I can download just a chapter. So what I might do is look through the description, look at the table of contents, and see which part looks promising for my purposes, right? So for instance, it's got some subsections here. So I'm just going to look through those and see if any of them are helpful, right? So it looks at different things in all of these different chapters. So for whichever part I find interesting and helpful, I could download the PDF or I could read online. Or if I decide this isn't exactly what I'm looking for, then I can click back to that list of things that I was looking at based on my search, right? And if I click out of here with this little X, it's going to get me back to the list. So I can keep looking down through this list and see if anything else looks promising. So for example, this one, the Great Irish Famine, that might be useful for me. So I might want to look into this one because remember in this example, we're looking at the rhetorical situation for a modest proposal and I need to find an article that's going to help me talk about that, right? So one of the things that influenced Swift to create that piece was definitely famine. So this one looks pretty promising. So I'm going to click where it says Get PDF. I have to accept their terms and all of the cookies. There we go. And I've finally gotten to the PDF. So now I can read through it and see what kinds of things I might be able to use from this to help me talk about the rhetorical situation for this piece. So once you've gotten to the PDF, make sure that you do this final step, which is to download it or to print it. So that is a promising PDF that I could use to talk about the rhetorical situation. If we want to go back to where we were, there we go. I can click out of this and then I'm back here to my list. Remember, you might not get something on the first try, so you can also say, go do a different search, right? So maybe Ireland in the 1700s and religion or religious conflict or something like that, and then search. So don't be afraid to change up your search terms, and you'll find that you get a bunch of different results. Like that first one, I only got 16 results. If I put in religion, I get 84. And then you can scroll through and decide which ones look promising. Remember that once you find something that looks promising, you're going to want to click where it says available online. Let's just choose a random one. Family and business during the Industrial Revolution. Sure. Let's click on that one. I'll show you kind of the process one more time. Again, it looks different for each one. So you want to go to full text availability and then kind of track that down. So I clicked there and I'm still not to the actual PDF. So many cookies. So if the abstract looks promising and you want to get the PDF, you can click the PDF, see if it works. Sometimes the links are broken, so this is a very real look at what can happen when you're trying to track down a PDF. And now I've got this PDF. You can see this is super lengthy. It's like 300 pages nearly. So downloading it is probably the best bet rather than printing that out, right? So download it and then save it somewhere where it's easily accessible for you. Again, you can go back to your search results. You can also narrow it down by different things. So you can say, I want to make sure that I have things that are available online or open access. For some of our assignments, you'll also need to get a peer-reviewed journal, so you can click that. If you want an article specifically, you can click that, and then you can click Apply Filters, and that'll filter down your results. If you find that you have like thousands and you need to filter them down, sometimes that's a good thing to do. And then you can just kind of look through. So that is a very quick tutorial on how to use our research databases. If you find that you need help, this is a great thing to see a tutor and work through together. You can also use the Ask a Librarian feature, or you can schedule some time with me during office hours and I can help you with that too. But that's our library databases. Reach out if you have any questions.